Welcome again to the Pines Hockey Stadium in Adelaide. It's day 2 of the 19th Champions Trophy. Well, host nation Australia has made an ideal start to the tournament. Along with the Dutch and the Germans yesterday, they recorded a first-up win, and shortly we'll have a match live for you. Australia against World Cup holders Pakistan. 12 goals scored on the opening day. Richard Agus, your impressions of the action from yesterday?
Well, I think it was a very exciting day's hockey. The big three, Australia, Germany and Holland, performed as we would have expected. I thought the Australians were very impressive at times. I thought the defence was very sound, with York and Duff at the back and Adelaide making a couple of good saves when needed. I thought Wandsworth returned to international hockey with a vengeance. In fact, he was named player of the match. So I think there was some exciting features of their game. I think Germany were very clinical. I think the 4-1 result was a bit flattering. I think Pakistan had some opportunities, and their coach after the match was far from happy with some of the umpiring decisions. Netherlands were very good, still relying on penalty corners, and of course big Bram Lomans comes on and flicks them under the crossbar, but still they're very impressive, but I would expect them to improve.
Well, let's focus for a moment on the Australian performance. Some good goals here.
Yes, here's a nice goal and well rehearsed, and Godoyne finds Elmer with a little deflection, nice set play, and that was the first of Elmer's score of 2. Here we see a penalty corner, which is a very important part of the game. And Damon Deledy, the goalkeeper from Barcelona, made a big save. And here we saw a great goal. Elmer again, the ball bounces, he hits it on the volley. Very exciting goal. And here he is again, featuring in the third goal, pulls around the Spanish defender very easily, balances, fires the ball, and there's Choppy. Plays the ball in there, doesn't Choppy love scoring those goals.
Well, it's Australia against Pakistan this afternoon. In a recent test series here, they shared the honours.
They did, but I thought Australia were experimenting in that series. Lewis wasn't here, and York had been injured, and Wandsworth was just making a comeback. I expect them to win today, and in front of a big crowd, I expect it to be a very exciting game.
Already had one match today, Korea against Spain, both having incurred a loss yesterday and needing to improve.
They will need to improve. I think that they both struggled yesterday. I thought Korea had trouble coming out of defence. And if they don't fix that problem, the top teams will exploit that. And some of the key players from Spain really struggled, and I think that they would expect to lift again today.
Well, a loss for either Korea or Spain today would just about spell the end of their chances of making the gold medal game next Sunday. Let's have a look at highlights from Spain and Korea.
Denarez. He's opted not to go for the hanky on the head.
Yes, and I was just saying, Song hasn't got the bandana on his head today either, so maybe it's a little too hot.
Well, he certainly looked a little different.
That's a good ball.
Here's Song, flying down the right. The only help arriving early is Yo. There's Yo. There you go. So that's a goal. Well, Yo not nominated. There's, oh, he's got Kim on his back, and it must be Kim, but on the lineup, 12 is Yo Woon Kon now, so he's left us a little confused.
Yes, I'm surprised the technical delegate has allowed that to happen, that the player can go out. It looks like he's got someone else's shirt on, but his own number, so I don't know how that's happened. So that's a little confusing, but Korea will be very happy with that start. And for the moment, let's say that it isn't Yo. We'll ignore what he's got on his shirt.
Yes, we'll assume that he's got the right number but the wrong name. Is that what you're saying, Richard?
Well, I don't know. I don't know him well enough to know whether it's... Maybe it's his another name, but on the team sheet he's certainly Yo.
Well, to further add confusion, there are 2 Kims in the team, and neither of them was in the starting 11 either. Well, let's say it's Yo. At least he had the right number. Assume they got that right. So very confusing. And the goal coming only after.
Anybody else on board?
Pablo Amat, and they get the penalty corner.
And that's the sort of play Spain we're used to seeing from Spain. Penetrating down the left wing through Amat or Arnau into the circle. The opportunity's not there for a clear shot at goal. Trying to force the penalty corner, and we saw that with Amat. The penalty corner, and they're first for the match. And they'll be very keen to convert this to get back on a level footing.
Xavi Ribas on to do the drag. Stopped by Arnau.
Well, umpire Peter Von Rett is indicating that there was a screen on the goalkeeper, and he's chatting the Spanish player, and of course, being from Holland, he could probably understand some Spanish, and he probably heard what he said. But that was an interesting call. You are not allowed to block the goalkeeper's view.
It's John. Cho, captain. Spain break down the right through Xavi Arnau.
Oh, good tackle.
A tackle affected by John. 8 is Shin. Here's a look at this penalty corner from inside the net.
There's the shot at goal. Well, I'd have to say, I'm not exactly sure why the whistle was blown, because it seemed to me that the Korean player was blocking his own goalkeeper's view. Nevertheless, the goal was disallowed, or the shot at goal was disallowed.
Malgosa, Spanish captain.
There's a push in the back, which is obviously not allowed. And that was wishful thinking.
Under 10 minutes left, first half. John Jong-ha. Cho. De Hong.
Here, he knocks the ball back. Arnau goes to the goalkeeper's left. He then touches it back. Fortunately for him, Ganaros punches down on the ball. Here we see it from the other angle. This is clever. Goes to the goalkeeper's left, knocks the ball back, and then he punches it down.
Oh, that was a fine take in the end by Donates. He actually had to retreat to find the ball. So 2 players played it back in the end, and Donates came up with a good finish.
Well, 4 goals in the second half, and there's still 10 minutes. 4 goals to Spain in the second half, and there's still 10 minutes of play remaining. And here's Escarré, breaks away, he protects the ball beautifully, rolls it back with the reverse. Arnau is deceived by the goalkeeper, who's still standing up. There's Donates, who lays down and punches on top of the ball, so it actually goes high over the goalkeeper, who by that time was flat on the ground trying to protect as much of the net as he possibly could.
Well, certainly one of the more interesting goals of the first 2 days here.
Well, it's been terrific second half. This guy's got to develop another leg, Arnau, hasn't he?
There he is.
There he is again.
We'll have another shot. Oh, flicked into the side only by Victor Pujol. Spain have come alive. They looked a little dour and uncreative yesterday against Australia. They've certainly exposed a few weaknesses in Korea here. But,
of course, with only 10 players on the pitch, there's a very big hole in the middle, with Shin being sent off.
Here's Escarré again. Oh, maybe this time. Arnau, play on. And over the top goes Pujol. Oh, I had another chance there.
Yes, certainly. Arnau would be unhappy that he just took a fraction too long. As a Korean coach, he doesn't look too happy at the moment. Yes. Then we saw the replay. The ball goes to Arnau. He just took a fraction too long. The Korean defenders were able to close him down.
So Gomez on in goal for Spain.
Just finishing that explanation, that the umpire ruled that the player had been standing still and dummied one way and dummied the other way. And, in other words, used his body to protect the ball. But we see that all the time.
Escarré! Thank you. He gets a second. 2 goals each to Escarré and Arnau. Once again, Korea brought undone. Didn't he take that well? Just inside the left upright.
It's a good pass, isn't it? Look at that pass. Poor old goalkeeper's just gone on. The first thing he has to do is save a rocket shot from Escarré.
4 minutes left. It's Arnau. Korea looking for their 3rd. 5-2. Extraordinary. Here's Pablo Usos. Escarré inevitably is in the circle waiting. Here's Donades. Oh, good stop by Kim Yoon, the reserve keeper, coming up with an important one. It would have been 6-2. Salah brings it down.
Off the body, wasn't it?
Well, Stroud and the Koreans thought so. Peter Van Rit, the man that matters, didn't think so. Pujol. Seconds left. Escarré. Still looking for a late sixth. Penalty corner now. Did he get awarded that just before?
The penalty corner will be played out.
Well, it's going to be 5-2 or 6-2. The penalty corner will be played.
That's right. And the situation here is that if the ball goes out of the circle for the second time, so they push it out, it goes back into the circle, and we watch here Escarré. That's the penalty corner. That's certainly the right decision. Just prior to the siren. So on international rules now, the penalty corner will be played out. As I was explaining, if the ball goes outside the circle once, back into the circle, if it then goes back out again, the penalty corner's over. Or if the Koreans clear the ball, or it's a shot at goal, it's missed. So there's a lot of permutations here. As you can see, Spain have got every player around the circle's edge.
Arnau is 11. He's closest and looks likely to hit. He does, and scores. And that's 6-2, and that's a hat-trick for Harvey Arnau.
Well, what can you say? He hasn't had a hit in 90 minutes of hockey. He's come out after half-time, as we watch on the replay. He just pushed it. The goalkeeper stays up again. He's pushed it alone. The ball really, the goal should have been saved. It was very close to the keeper. But the number 2 goalkeepers come on and had a baptism of fire that you wouldn't dream about. So Arnau has done particularly well in the last 35 minutes of this match, and he'll be feeling much happier with himself by the time they get to play the Netherlands on Wednesday.